like first round. So I'm really happy to be able to show like my cardio was good, and even with a broken nose, I can get it in the third round.
When that nose, the injury to your nose did happen, did it? That's the first time you've had something like that. That's the first time you've had something like that happen to you in a fight, right?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like? Did you freak out? Did you think, oh, it's finally happening? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I never actually really got even a lot of blood on a fight before, so when I got it, it didn't hurt too bad. I just heard the sound, but when I started to saw a lot of blood, I thought, okay, maybe it's a cut. I'm praying it's a cut. And then on the on the corner, I asked my coach, "Oh, is it broken? You think?" He said, "No, no, it's okay. It's just a cut." And I said, like, "Okay, I know my coach, and it's probably broken."
Did you, when it went to the judges, were you confident? Did you think you had done enough to win?
Yeah, I thought I won. I thought it was two for me and one for her. And I thought, like, man, I broke my nose and I tried to come back the third round, so I hope they give to me.
Congratulations. I'm sorry about the nose.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Hello. Mackenzie, so this is obviously now 3-0 for 2020. You rebounded from the first loss of your career last year. I mean, just can you discuss overall what you really focused on that really just continued this run for you? Because obviously, we know about the change in camp and everything. So just how did you stay focused to just continue this development in 2020?
I think the pandemic, the pandemic helped a lot because you stay at home and you can't travel, you can't do anything. So staying at home and have nothing to do, it's kept me, okay, let's go train. And then also being at the Ruka gym, you see like Bisping, Cheeto Vera, you see Luke Rockhold, you see all these champions in all the time, and that just pushes you to be there too. I see Cheetos in the gym. I said, okay, I gotta go to, I need to do what they're doing because I want to be like them, champion. And the seeing my evolution in my striking really made me more and more determined. So I said, okay, when you see you're getting better, you want to keep going and keep going. So it was always fun to be at the academy and training and everything. It wasn't like, I think before my old gym was always a battle just to go to the gym, because I had to fight mentally my coach, mentally myself. And at the gym, the Ruka gym is just like happy to be there and free, and it's really nice. And when you see the good result, I stayed 1 year off, being pregnant. So I knew I needed to catch up with the girls that had kind of passed me. And now I definitely feel like I'm caught up and I'm trying to really put my spot in the top 10 and become a title contender.
Just for the record, when you say your old team, are you talking about Black House or the Lab?
Both.
Okay.
Black House and more.
So you talked about you're trying to get a submission of the year. At what point did you forget about that and just decide you want to throw hands tonight?
I wanted submission of the year, but I thought, hey, maybe we can have knockout of the year. And I really just been training so much my striking. I went for some takedowns, but I kind of was feeling a little bit chasing her. So I was kind of going into takedowns far. So I started to feel my hands landing more than my entrance to the takedown. So I said, okay, I think this fight's going to be a little bit more stand up. And I started to feel my jab hitting her. And on the third round, I felt like kind of knocked her a little bit. I'm anxious, I get really excited. And instead of being calm and seeing the opening, I just kind of went on top of her. And then we got into a clinch and she can breathe and things like that. So I really enjoyed getting the experience of having three rounds of stand up and kind of show people like, hey, if my jiu-jitsu doesn't work, I can stand up too.
My final question, there's a lot of talk sometimes with the female divisions, the next Ronda Rousey. And when you came to the UFC, you got a lot of attention. People were excited. You're undefeated, everything. I guess when you have a lot of expectations like that, how do you tune it out so you can just grow and develop as a fighter at your own pace? Because obviously it's, people want to compare you, but you're just trying to have your own career.
Yeah, I think that kind of started when I started getting my knockouts, like not my knockout, but with Amanda Cooper, I knocked down and then the submission, and I started kind of building my own style. Ronda, she has a great style, aggressive and everything, but I think when I start to get like the leg locks, and I really saw like, okay, I have something different, really different, you know, which is the jiu-jitsu, these leg locks from the bottom, you know, where people think you're losing and doing kind of breaking records. And I kind of just set my goal on breaking records, you know. I said, okay, Ronda broke records, you know, but I'm going to break more records, you know. So I'm just focused on that, like one straight line, you know, the horse, how it has the things, that's what I have. And it's a pleasure for me that everyone was saying that, you know, but it was kind of pretty easy for me to focus on me and have my goal and try to be a legend.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Did you see the main event?
I was hoping fight of the night, but man, those guys, they really put so much heart, and it was a great fight. It was awesome. Neymar.
Mackenzie,
Oi.
tudo bom?
Uhum.
Primeiro eu queria saber se você já tinha passado por uma experiência assim, o nariz sangrando, de repente em treino, isso foi uma surpresa, e como foi lidar com esse momento?
Foi muito diferente, nunca passei por isso. Sabia que um dia ia acontecer, mas ainda que eu sempre achava que meu nariz tinha mais possibilidade de quebrar, porque eu tenho esse osso um pouco maior, entendeu? Então, eu sempre pensei, se um dia quebrar na luta, talvez aproveita e faz um plástico também, entendeu? Mas eu fiquei surpresa realmente de ter acontecido com a Virna, entendeu? Que é do jiu-jitsu, eu não esperava a trocação dela ser uma luta tão equilibrada assim. Eu estava confiante na minha trocação, mas eu gostei, assim, não doeu tanto, entendeu? Achei que era um corte só, depois eu comecei a sentir minha respiração. Eu gostei de ver que no terceiro round eu consegui manter minha força, manter a pressão, manter tudo que eu precisava para realmente deixar claro que a vitória era minha.
O nariz quebrou?
Eles falam que sim, mas vamos esperar desinchar para confirmar, mas acredito em si.
Tá, ok. A luta foi bastante travada em pé, disputada em pé. Isso mostra uma evolução grande da você. Você já tinha mencionado antes da luta com o Jason Figueiredo, né? Era isso que você queria? Você tinha essa vontade de mostrar a sua evolução em pé também? E como você se avalia na trocação agora nesse nível? Agora provavelmente você vai entrar no top 10.
Sim, eu queria ficar aí trocando, eu queria machucar ela em pé, para depois levar para o chão, para ser um pouco mais fácil, né? Eu achava ela ia ser forte no chão, então queria dar esse trabalho e mostrar que, eu acho que para top 10, né, tem que mostrar que você é versátil, né? Você é bom em tudo. Eu acho que eu mostrei isso. Lógico, tem muito para melhorar, porque a Virna, o ponto fraco dela é a trocação, ela não é a melhor trocadora da categoria, entendeu? Mas eu acho que eu mostrei que eu posso ser perigosa assim na trocação, só que eu achei que eu fiquei um pouco empolgada às vezes, entendeu? Eu ficava bem com o meu jab, com o meu direto, mas às vezes eu mandava aquelas bombas sem asa, entendeu? Que acho que é um hábito meu, mas eu tô 4 meses com o Coach Parilho, eu já vi uma evolução enorme, e eu tenho certeza que 2021 vai ser mais evolução ainda, e que já vou estar preparada para a luta para aquela cinturão.
Maravilha, minha última pergunta então, você entrando no top 10 possivelmente, o que você imagina para 2021, que tipo de desafio você gostaria a seguir?
Desafios? 2021?
Qual o desafio que você gostaria a seguir?
Eu acho que lutar com alguém mais ranqueado que eu, entendeu? Eu nunca lutei com alguém mais ranqueado que eu, então esse vai ser meu primeiro foco, e lutar mais vezes possível. Entre esse critério de alguém que realmente vai fazer uma mudança no meu ranking e me botar mais perto do cinturão. Eu vou estar treinando bastante minha trocação, porque o Coach Parilho mora na Califórnia, né? Academia que eu treino todo dia. E eu vou estudar, eu vou voltar, eu vou ver minha luta, estudo bastante, estudo todas as adversárias que tem no top 10. Eu acho que tem muitas meninas que vão lutar entre elas, então eu estou ansiosa para saber qual oportunidade que vai aparecer para mim, quem vai estar disponível para lutar comigo, como é que vai ser, entendeu? Mas lutar com alguém que vai me puxar e eu poder mostrar ou trocação, ou chão, ou o que for, mas se não ganhei finalização do ano esse ano, pode ser que 2021 eu vou atrás disso também. Yeah. Todas.
Well, hello. We're live. How about that? So much to talk about. So much to talk about. What an event that was, Casey. I still can't believe what we watched. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
I think the main event was better than you could have given her fight. You could have given
That is not anybody that's going to be speaking. So this is the beginning of our post-fight coverage. We just heard from Mackenzie Dern.
God, wow.
What a main event. What a main event. What a fight. Jeez Louise.
Oh my God.
I don't think Figueiredo can complain of the except the belt.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's so much to talk about with the post-fight show and this entire event in general, but for those who sat on the fence and decided, you know what, I'm not going to order this one, you made a terrible decision. You made a terrible decision.
Why were people doing this? Card was, first of all, this card was great on paper. On paper, this card was great. It was, of course, it wasn't as great as the original card, but yeah, that's what happens. But on paper, this card was still great, and it blew away expectations.
He didn't respond.
Oh, for sure.
Unreal.
For sure.
Freaking real. Hey, Jose, can you speak to us? Oh, I think he's doing some other stuff, maybe.
Yes, he is in awe right now as well.
And
With
we're
what we
still
did.
waiting for Mr. A.K. Lee, right?
No, he won't be here for this
Oh,
one.
what?
Yeah, he doesn't do these. He does a post-fight show.
Oh, yeah. He's scared.
We give him a breather to kind of tackle all the post-fight stuff. But right now it is myself. I am Mike Heck. Jose Youngs is in Las Vegas, just bringing you all this wonderful coverage. And, of course, Casey Leiden is here. What a night it was. As of right now, we just saw it. It was a draw. Davis and Figueiredo still the champion. There is one thing that I just noticed, though, okay? I saw the scorecard. The first thing that stuck out to me was Bruce Buffer read the score wrong from Derek Cleary because he said 47-46, and I was like, that sounds like such a strange scorecard. And apparently it was a strange scorecard because it was wrong. It was 48-46. But
For who?
here's the kicker. It should have been 48-46 for Figueiredo instead of 47-46. That was the one that was scored for the champion, all right? Judge Junichiro Kamijo scored the fight 47-47, but he gave the 5th round to Brandon Moreno.
What?
So had he scored that the correct way, because I don't think there's a lot of people out there that thought Brandon Moreno won the 5th round.
No.
You can make arguments that he won the 2nd round. You can make arguments. I mean, he definitely won the 4th round. And then those rounds are really close. But the 5th round clearly was a Figueiredo round, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that one judge, that was not Chris Lee. It was Junichiro Kamijo.
Oh, he's usually really good, too.
Figueiredo. Yep. So there you go.
We got the scorecards right here.
There's the scorecard right there. So all the way on the right, gave round 5 to Brandon Moreno. Wow. Okay. But still, I mean, what a fight.
Okay.
What a fight.
We'll talk more about what obviously we'll talk about in the post show, but since I guess the next question would be, how did you score it, Casey?
Yes. How did you score it?
I scored rounds 1 and 5 for the champion Figueiredo, and I scored rounds 2, 3, and 4 for Moreno with a 10-8 with the point deduction for Figueiredo. So actually, I had it Moreno winning pretty convincingly on the scorecards. So
you had about like 49-46 or 48-47?
48-46, I think. Either way, the math.
10-8, yeah, 46.
Yeah, if I had 48-46. I had a 48-46 for the challenger, Brandon Moreno.
I thought Moreno was winning heading into the 5th round, and I thought he lost the 5th round, so I scored it a draw.
Okay, so you scored. Okay. I think everyone agrees round 1 is for Figueiredo, right? I don't think we're in disagreement at that.
I scored round 2 for Moreno. Round 3
for
was super close.
Round 3 to me is the close round. Wait, sorry, you scored round 2 for Moreno. Now
Moreno.
2 judges gave round 2 to Figueiredo though.
Yeah.
And then every judge gave round 3 to Figueiredo, and I gave round 3 to Moreno with the point deduction.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I stopped keeping score after, like, the 2nd round. I mean, the 3rd round, I thought about it, obviously, because of the point deduction. But at that point, like, afterwards, I was just like, what is the point of scoring this anymore? Like, I just sat back and enjoyed it for what it was. And just, like, it was a gut instinct saying that Brandon Moreno is 5 minutes away from becoming champion. Like, in my mind, in my heart of hearts, maybe I was thinking of, like, pride rules or whatever. Mm-hmm. I had Moreno winning heading into the 5th round. So I didn't like have a round by round basis to how I looked at that fight. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like the totality of it all, just kind of off the top of my head. But I thought Moreno was winning heading into the 5th round, and I thought Figueiredo won the 5th round to force the draw.
Yeah,
I don't even remember how I scored each round, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was writing it down because I was just like, yeah, I didn't want to score. I just wanted to enjoy it, but I was like, okay, I got to do my job, Casey. Got to actually score the rounds. But yeah, I thought Moreno won. Yeah, what a bummer. I mean, okay, let's don't talk about the score. Let's talk about how awesome that fight was. How about that?
All right, let me ask you this, all right? Because we're gonna talk more about it. I'm sure like everybody's commenting about it, and I'm sure we're gonna get a ton of questions about this during the post-fight show, so I'm sure we're going to talk about it a bunch more. Is this the fight of the year? Did this beat Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk? Or, I mean, this is a recency bias sport more than any other in the world. But is this the fight of the year, just thinking about it right now at 1:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday morning?
It is the second best fight of the year. I going into the 5th round, I thought it was going to be fight of the year. But both those two gentlemen were so banged up, they basically had to take the first 3 minutes of that round off. Just so the 5th round off, because it wasn't because it was a slow round. It's like there were just two broken fighters in there, just like faces matched up. And like basically you could tell they're almost saving energy for that last 2 minutes or last 30 seconds or whatever. So because the 5th round didn't have that real bang, you know, like great fights do. Like, you know, you think of Weili versus Joanna. The 5th round was awesome. You think of great fights like Carlos Condit versus Robbie Lawler. That 5th round was legendary. Unfortunately, this 5th round couldn't equal the amazingness of the first 4 rounds. But regardless, it was such a super good fight. Man, it is just exciting to watch.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Jose.
What's
up, guys?
Oh,
how we doing, my friend?
I was listening, but we got a little bit of a break, so I figured I'd switch the audio. So
can you do the little camera switch so we see your beautiful face? Is that possible?
I'm afraid you guys have witnessed how much issues with my camera I've had. I don't want to touch it.
Oh, okay, you don't want to. Won't work again. No problem. I would just.
All right.
Well, when you build a house of cards and you don't want to move anything, so it'll fall down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nervous switching this audio.
I'll pretend that the can of Monster Energy drink is you.
Yes.
You guys
the technical Jenga board.
Picked up the can of Kevin Holland came and picked up the can of Monster and threw it away viciously. Declaring they don't sponsor me.
Nice. I like that. I like prize fighters that get it.
Does not surprise me at all. All right, Jose. Well, since you are here, and I don't know like how busy you were, I'm sure you got to watch the main event in its entirety. How did you score that fight?
Man, I don't know. Once the fight was over, me and Oscar of the Mac Life looked at each other. I'm like, this is gonna be a draw. It's 100% gonna be a draw, and that's what it was. So I don't remember what I was scoring on live because I wasn't really watching it. I was trying to think of questions to ask if either man survived the fight. But once the fight was over, with the point deduction in mind, I had a gut feeling that it was probably going to be a draw. Like, if you look at my Twitter, I was like, please not a draw, please not a draw. And then it happened. And I agree. So we also had this conversation. The Joanna Weili fight on my fight of the year list. only because it had. If you remember Joanna and White in the Wiley fight, it was all technical striking. MMA fight had some grappling, had some wrestling, had some crazy scrambles. Both guys got clipped a few times, like they were like broken arms and all that kind of stuff. So in my mind, this was a more thrilling mixed martial arts fight, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But
I love the
That's
draw
like-
because of the 4th
they're
rematch. Yeah.
both great.
I'm sorry.
I think they would have rematched soon anyway.
Well, you know, Mano Cape
Yeah.
never got his fight, so he still has to fight someone before he gets an eventual title fight. You know, if he wins. So
let's also not forget This is also Brandon Moreno's second draw in the last 2 years because he fought to a draw against Askar Askarov. So he has to. They never rematched that fight either.
Yeah, and that fight was a big fat hose job because
That was a
Brandon Moreno
banger.
won that fight. Brandon Moreno won that
I
fight.
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
Mike, real quick, we got a situation. You love talking about fighter of the year, but now we have a situation. I mean, we were talking about if Figueiredo wins, he's a shoo-in for fighter of the year. But if he loses and Kevin Holland does something spectacular, he's a shoo-in for fighter of the year. But we kind of got, I don't know, what do we get?
I have no idea. I am not.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of
I
crazy.
need some time to think about it.
I still think it's Figueiredo. Kept his belt.
Kept his belt involved in a fight, involved in a fight of the year. Yeah.
Kept his belt. Got a win bonus. Headlines 2 pay-per-views. Fight of the year. Fight one of the greatest flyweight fight we'll ever see. I'd still put Figueiredo above. But Kevin, like if you watch Kevin Holland's scrum, someone asked him.
Yeah.
I think it was actually Gabe. I can't remember the side of the top of my head. He's like, "Are you fighter of the year?" Fighter of the year. He's like, "Well, that depends on if Figueiredo wins." So even he got it, but I still think it's Figueiredo.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a discussion
You got to
now.
include Moreno, and you got to include Oliveira now.
Yes.
Oliveira's in there. Jan Blachowicz is in there.
Yeah.
Yep, Moreno's in there.
Even
So-
Moreno's in that top 5. I mean, he had an amazing year.
Oh, for sure. The bonuses are out.
Ooh.
Do you want to take? I mean, we know what the fight of the night
Friday
is.
night, Kevin Holland, obvious. Friday night, obvious. Kevin Holland, and then
And who's the other one? This is the one.
Hold on. Okay, I looked at it earlier.
My pick was correct.
I don't think he won, but my other performance would go to Charles Oliveira, but they never give it the decisions.
It was the guy who I thought should have got it, and I know Cub Swanson was a guy that a lot of people thought should have got it. Would have been a nice story, but Rafael Fiziev is the other performance of the night. I mean,
good for
he
Fiziev, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, he absolutely destroyed Renato Moicano. Like, absolutely ruined that man. I have no issues with him getting performance of the night.
I would have put Cub over Fiziev. I like Cub's knockout much better. Unfortunately for Fiziev, I did not actually. I'm one of those people. I did not like the stoppage. I understand the stoppage, but I actually didn't like it. But Fiziev, congratulations, sir.
But we have to remember, this is not knockout of the night. This is performance of the night. And Fiziev was dominant from start to finish. I mean, that was a one-sided beatdown. Cub was in some trouble early in that first round. He turned it around and got the momentum at the end of the first round, and then kept that momentum going, got the finish in the second round. But if we're talking about like overall performances from the opening bell to when the fight was over, Fiziev had the better performance.
I would give it to Oliveira. He had 2 10-8 rounds. 10-8 rounds.
That's
I would have given it to Oliveira. But but I rarely agree with the UFC's performance bonuses. But congratulations to those gentlemen.
give everybody an extra $100,000.
Give Chase Hooper $50,000 for that great comeback.
So I have to write event of the year. So I have to come up with the top 5 events just because I've been to most of them. This for a while, UFC 249 was my event of the year. That was the first pandemic pay-per-view because that had some epic fights too.
Can you remind me of the fights tonight? Oh, sorry.
Cejudo, Cruz, Ferguson, Gaethje, Ngannou, Jairzinho. You know, it was the first Jacksonville card when it was like everything. So it was a historic card, and all the fights lived up to the to the entertainment value. So that was my event of the year for a long time, and this might have passed it.
I think
Yeah, this is the card of the year. This is a no-brainer, right?
I feel it
This
is.
is an awesome card.
Of the
This is an epic card.
11 fights on this card wasn't
10.
10 fights on this card, which is a perfect
Yeah,
perfect
no
card.
bad fights.
No bad
Perfect.
fights. Perfect card. No bad fights.
Even the first fight, like Joe Rogan had Chase Hooper cut from the roster like halfway through the fight.
I thought I made that up. I was like, did Rogan just cut Hooper? Like,
He's like, yeah, he should go back to the regional scene and get some more work. And then he submits Peter Barrett. Like, you just knew it was crazy. Like, I was talking like after I interviewed Tyson Chartier for What the Heck. Like, him and I talked for a while and we talked about that fight. And I'm like, as long as Peter Barrett can like stay at distance and just pick him apart, like he'll win the fight. Like, he'll beat Chase Hooper. And then as soon as he got that Eminari roll in the third round, I'm like, uh-oh. And he didn't get right back up. I was like, oh no. And then you could see like the kind of fear in Barrett's eyes at like the 3-minute mark left in the round. And then, wow, what a crazy win that was. I like all these comments. I like them all. A lot of positivity.
This card reminded me a lot of UFC 199. That was the Casey didn't get to see the end of UFC 199.
yeah.
But in terms of violence from like top to bottom, there being no real bad obviously like UFC 199. I think that had the Kevin Casey draw on like the early one. I think that was kind of a dud, but that was an emotional fight for him because Muhammad Ali had just died, his father-in-law. So like that was kind of the narrative surrounding that. But after that, there was pretty much just good fight after good fight, and they were all violent. So this has shades of UFC 199 in mind.
Yeah, I mean the first fight was like a fight of the year contender.
It was
that Polo Reyes?
Polo Reyes and
Oh,
Dong
yeah.
Young,
Yeah.
and Dong Young Kim. Yeah,
Best
first
curtain
fight in
jerker
that.
I've ever seen in UFC history.
Yeah.
I agree with Casey. Cub had a cleaner finish.
That main event had like Poirier, or the main card had like Poirier, Green, like Hendo, Lombard, Holloway, Lamas. Like I'm pretty sure Ortega Guida was on like the prelims.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure that started the James Vick life. Like that was his first knockout loss. That just looked like ridiculous.
So much to talk about. Rogan was dissing Hooper. He sure was. 2-3-4 from Moreno. I mean,
that's how I had it too.
Such a good fight. It was just such a good fight. I could watch those two guys fight every single card. I wouldn't want to see that because for their health.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The Eagle versus DuBronx thoughts. It's funny because for like the last couple of years, everyone's been saying like if there's one guy who matches up great with Khabib and could be the guy to beat him, it's Charles Oliveira. And some people like shrug that off. But I think after tonight, I think that kind of proves a little bit more solid, like a little more solace to that. I don't know. I mean, Oliveira was ridiculous tonight. So ridiculous.
Yeah. For me, I always thought the guy to beat Khabib was going to be Justin Gaethje, and I still picked Khabib going into that fight, but I thought Gaethje was the guy to beat him, and clearly that didn't come close to happening. But maybe it is DuBronx. I thought DuBronx was always going to be a guy that would eventually fight for the title. I never thought he would beat Khabib, but
Oh, I think we got some movement, guys.
okie dokie.
So I'm gonna mute
You got
myself.
some movement?
No problem.
So I'm gonna switch audio.
Do it.
All
Do your
right.
thing.
Let's go to the full screen. And we'll see who's going to be stepping up. I assume it's going to be Dana White. That'd be my guess. But maybe it's actually it's probably going to be Charles Oliveira.
I hope Dana's in a good mood tonight. It's just I want
How
to see
can
Dana.
he not?
Oh come on, we've seen Dana after great fights come. I don't know something.
Dude, he is going to say this is like he is going to go gangbusters on how great this card was.
Is he gonna talk about how he didn't sign Kevin Holland because he talked too much?
I'm sure he's going to go back in time a little bit and be like, wow.
Little revisionist.
It's crazy because like when we released the Kevin Holland interview that went on the site today, there were a lot of people who were throwing up gifs of Brendan Allen kind of controlling Kevin Holland on the ground. And they're like, well, if this guy did this to Kevin Holland, then what's Jacare gonna do? It's just crazy. Like this was 14 months ago. He got submitted in Boston. by Brendan Allen, and now look at him. Now he's 5-0 this year. He just violently knocked out Jacare. I mean, we're talking about all these awards. That knockout, I don't think I mean, Joaquin Buckley is a surefire winner of the knockout of the year, but that is in the conversation now.
I put a lot of weight in level of competition. And what Holland did to Jacare, you know, the only person that's done it to Jacare in that kind of crazy fashion was a gentleman named Gegard Mousasi back in Dream.
Yes.
One of the craziest on the back knockouts, and this was like just up there too. It was like, you know what's crazy? I swear, I think Holland talking trash to Jacare let his guard down. Like he kind of got a little too relaxed in there, and then once he was kind of talking trash back, Jacare is kind of having fun, kind of talking back. Then Holland went pop pop and just, I don't know how he generated that power. That's some what a card! What a freaking card!
So crazy. Yeah, it was funny because like Holland was on his back and he was talking, and Jacare smiled, like in the middle, like while he was on top of Kevin Holland, he just smiled.
Yeah, just hey.
So well, and there's scorecard once again of main event.
Why can't I shrink that?
We don't. I mean,
yeah,
such a crazy fight. So good. And Brandon Moreno has become one of my favorites in terms of like what I do. Like he might be my favorite interview of 2020. Like every time he comes on, it's just so fun. And he's just such a good dude, and he's just hilarious. And what a performance tonight. I mean,
I thought he won.
He said I
thought he won.
A lot of people thought he won. You know what? I have to, now that I'm thinking about it, can we put, since we stopped moving, maybe MMA decisions
Let me see what MMA
for that fight? See if we can pull that up.
I'll take a peek. Hey, big props to Jason Herzog for deducting a point.
Yes. The refereeing was tremendous tonight for the most part.
Jason Herzog rules, and even in the what was there was a foul situation with Dern Jandiroba. Was it an eye poke or something? Yeah, it was an eye poke, and he handled that so well. It was great.
Herzog and Mark Smith are the tag team champions of refereeing.
Okay, I guess I was making stuff up. All right, let me do a little.
Hey guys, I'm back for a split second. There's like a million security guards standing outside, and one of them keeps looking out the door. So I have no idea who's coming, but there's a lot of movement outside. It's also nighttime.
Yeah,
so
we'll be ready when it flips back.
Right on.
Here, let me show you what the media picks. One moment.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see Davis and Figueiredo at the presser.
I really doubt that.
Yeah, Waleed, his manager in the IG stories, put a photo up of Figueiredo getting carted out. Okay. Wow.
So actually, no one actually scored over Moreno, huh? Straight up. Yeah, I had Moreno winning straight up, but I guess no one did.
Wow.
So according to regular media, yeah, this is pretty much the right decision. Either draw or Figueiredo. So yeah. Maybe I got some bias in there. I don't know.
It was just an outstanding fight.
Oh yeah,
just an outstanding fight.
But you gotta wonder too. I mean, he did take a serious eye poke, an eye poke that he could have been deducted a point with the eye poke, because that was an egregious eye poke. The way you pushing off to get up, that was just bad eye poke, and the groin shot was really bad too. But and you really wonder how much that affected Moreno in the fight. I mean, the man was almost puking in the cage.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Poor Brandon Moreno. Good God Almighty. Yeah. Between that eye poke, that was a very popular thing on Twitter. Was people complaining about that eye poke, saying it was egregious. It was. Some even said it was on purpose. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not even gonna throw that out there.
I can't throw that out. I mean, it was reckless. It was a very reckless. If they would have deducted a point right then, because it wasn't in a scramble, it was like, I'm pushing off on your face. I know where your face is, and I'm using my hand to push off on it. That's not accidental. I mean, it's accidental. Maybe the finger went in the eye, but that's not an accidental push off with your hands out on the face. So yeah, Yeah.
All right, so it's pretty clear where this division goes, right? We run it back, okay? Cody Garbrandt, I don't think he's gonna wait that long. Can we just do Manel Kape versus Cody Garbrandt, number 1 contender fight?
There you go. There you go.
I mean, why not? At this point, like that's the fight.
That is the fight.
Kape is the backup. Throw him in there. It's the number 1 contender fight.
That is absolutely the fight.
I know Juicy or Formiga, or not Formiga, Pantoja will be kind of left out, but still, you could throw him in there with Brandon Royval. You could throw him in there with I mean, flyweight is so good. It's just so fun right now.
Man.
All right, do we have we can throw some stuff up there while we wait whoever the hell's going on.
Hold on.
I'm still jacked up from that whole card.
I'm assuming Al Mack is talking about Figgy. We didn't say he was a cheater.
Cheaters.
We didn't say cheater.
Nope, no one said
No
that.
one said cheater.
I didn't say that. I was just saying that's what Twitter was saying.
I'm just saying
I mean,
that. I'm
you know
saying
how Twitter can
that
be
that is a reckless way to get up for Figueiredo to get up like that. So.
Yeah.
You know what I need to watch? I really need to rewatch round 2. I think that's. I feel like that. I think what was the scorecards again? Round 2. Round 2. 2 judges gave it to Figueiredo. And only 1 judge gave Moreno. And I thought round 2 was Moreno's round. And yeah, so.
That one's coming up. There's Dana White. Here we go.
Up, guys. Fight of the night. No brainer. Figueiredo versus Moreno, the main event. They robbed the women and took the $50,000, and then Fiziev and Holland got performance of the night. They all won $50,000, and Davison was transported to the hospital, so he won't be here.
When's the rematch?
2021. I don't know. I mean, we got to give these guys some time off, but you absolutely positively do that rematch. That's another fun fight for us all to look forward to in 2021.
Yeah, no question about it. Obviously, it was a great fight. I mean, we could go on and on about it. I did want to ask you about the scoring, and I'm not sure if you've seen the cards yet, but the reason it was a draw was because one judge gave Moreno the 5th round, which I don't think many people did. If Figueiredo gets it, that ends up being a Figueiredo win. So what did you think about the scoring overall, and does that change it?
Interesting. I didn't know that. But we were in the back. I went back halfway through the fight, and we were sitting back there saying this could definitely end up being a draw with the when they took the point. But I didn't know that somebody gave him the last round. So I say, man, you never know with these judges. You never know.
What did you think about the point deduction? Obviously, that's being debated right now. It obviously factored into the result of the fight. What did you think about it?
What the ref said was it was the 3rd foul. So normally in a case like that, a guy gets a foul, he'd be warned, but that was the 3rd foul. And I think the ref felt he had to get control of the fight and make Figueiredo stop, stop poking him in the eyes, stop kicking him in the nuts. So it worked.
I didn't get to hear it, but I was looking at online reports. It seems like Davison said that he was in the hospital until 2 a.m. this morning. I'm assuming you were aware of that. What can you tell us about that, especially knowing that we won't get to ask him about it?
Yeah. He did. He had some, he didn't feel good in the middle of the night last night, so he went to the hospital.
What's going through your mind when your main event's in the hospital the night before? I mean, is this 2020?
Yeah. After this year, man, good luck. Good luck, getting me to flinch at anything. But these things happen sometimes, and especially this year. So, but he went in, he got taken care of, and
I was gonna say, were we in danger of losing it? I mean, was it that close to the?
Anytime a guy goes to the hospital, you're in danger. Obviously, we gave him, do you want to fight or do you not want to fight? It's up to you. He was obviously cleared medically to fight, but he had the option to fight or not fight, and he wanted to fight.
Got to ask you about Charles Oliveira's performance in the co-main event as well. I mean, obviously the guy's grown up in front of our eyes here in front of the UFC. What did you think about his performance this evening?
Yeah, he looked incredible, man. And there were some debates going into that fight. I thought we were going to see the old Tony. I thought that the last fight He was affected by weight cutting, and we were going to see, 10 out of 10 people tapped to that arm bar. The fact that he even made it through the arm bars is unbelievable, and just a testament to how tough and durable and crazy Tony Ferguson is.
Clearly, you got another contender at lightweight. I mean, he wants a title fight potentially next. But I wanted to ask you, we saw the 257 lineup on the broadcast tonight. There have been rumblings of maybe Gaethje and Chandler on that same card. We didn't see it tonight. Obviously, that would impact the lightweight division as well. Can you give us any update on that? Is that fight happening, or what's going on with it?
Yeah, listen, this is the last pay-per-view of the year. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. When I get home, we'll get all this stuff squared away and get everything done.
Do you think that Oliveira now, though, is part of that conversation? Any title fight discussions that you have? I mean, he's in there.
The rankings are coming out on Tuesday, so we'll see where he ends up in the rankings. And without a doubt, no matter what, I mean, the guy's one of the best in the world right now in the nastiest division in the sport. So, yeah.
A couple other quick ones for me. Kevin Holland. Man, we've never seen anything like that. That was absolutely amazing. You just talk about Kevin Holland's win and where you see that guy going. I mean, this has been a heck of a year for him.
Yeah, fought 5 times this year. Destroyed Jacare from his back and was handling his own on the ground with him. And, very, very impressive. I was blown away with him tonight. And I'm really happy for him. I like the kid a lot. He's a really good kid. He's got a great attitude. And you know what? He made a shitload of money this year. He made a lot of money. And couldn't happen to a better guy.
Last thing for me, obviously, everybody's talking about the roster moves, right? The things that you got to do before the end of the year. I'm curious, names like Jacare, names like Junior Dos Santos, guys that are kind of, established former champions, but are on losing streaks. Would you look at those two guys as names that are potentially on the chopping block?
I mean, that's every weekend. I mean, we'll be talking about this next weekend too, after the fights. It's part of the sport. Yeah, I mean, I think over the next, between last year and next year, you're going to see a lot of the old big names, moving on and retiring.
So, Dana, not talking about his contract status, but that's 4 losses in a row for Junior and 4 by being knocked out. Do you think maybe it's time he starts looking at his future in fighting in general?
I do. Yep.
With Fiziev earlier today got a beat Moicano. He looks very exciting, a great addition to the roster, but great to see where he goes in the roster. Did you think that was a fair stoppage? There's some talk that maybe Moicano is still in the fight and could.
So when we're shooting a fight, okay, and this has happened to us before, it drives me friggin' nuts. So he's on top of him, hits him with that beautiful 3-punch combination, gets on top of him, and the ref stops the fight, right? As soon as the ref stops the fight, he starts arguing with him, right? So sometimes what our guys will do, they pan away and they go to the guy who won. He's celebrating and whatever. And you don't see him try to stand up and fall back down. McConnell was done. He could not get up. He couldn't walk. And he was stumbling all over the place trying to stand up. And the production stayed on it. So the fans see that. So nobody's at home going, that was a bullshit stoppage. That was stopped too soon. There's no way that fight was stopped too soon. That was a beautiful stoppage by the ref and an unbelievable combination that he threw to win the fight.
You mentioned that you thought you were going to see the old Tony Ferguson. It's 2 losses in a row. It's not the most, but is it possible that the old Tony Ferguson is no longer and that Tony's now on a decline?
Yeah, of course that's possible. But Tony needs to go home and spend the holidays with his family, take some time off, and think about what he wants to do next year. And we'll see what's next for him. But yes, that's every time you fight. In this business, that's always possible.
And last thing from me, if you could put it into a word or into a feeling, how relieved are you that this year is over?
Yeah, it's funny because every time we've been talking through this year, I've been telling you, I can't wait for this year to be over. I can't wait for this year to be over. But, I don't know what I expected for 2021, but it doesn't look like it's going to be any different. It's going to be a lot of the same shit next year. But this year was a great year for us, man. We had a great year. great fights. Business has never been better. I did an interview the other day with Dan Wetzel and walked through the business with him, and basically our business is up. We broke records this year in almost every category except live gate. So 2020 was a horrible year in many ways, for all of us personally and professionally, but it was a great year for the UFC.
Just a follow up on that. Knowing that 2021 is probably going to be full of shit as well, is it still a relief and a sense of pride that you can start the year off with a pay-per-view with Conor McGregor, which will essentially kickstart the year just like this year? It's like, what better way could you start the year?
Yeah, no. And you look at the fights that we have lined up, you look at the roster of young up-and-coming talent that we have. But first fight in Jacksonville, Florida, when no other sports were going, we had Ferguson versus Gaethje. It's just it's been a good run, and we've had nothing but great fights this whole year. I don't know.
Congratulations on a great year.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Dana, do you think that the main event should be considered in the fight of the year? When you look, you had a number of great fights. The women's fight, Joanna.
Joanna and Whaley was really good too. So
right. I mean,
it was just so long ago. People need to remember how damn good that fight was.
Emmett and Burgos was also a great one, and you had a number. But do you think this should be in that consideration?
When you walk into our front doors at the UFC, we have these huge TV screens there, and the Ronda Rousey boardroom is right above it. I was in a meeting about 2 months ago, and they were airing the Whaley Joanna fight. I couldn't fucking pay attention to anything in this meeting. I just kept watching the fight, and I forgot how incredible that fight was, and what they both looked like after that fight, because they had literally beat the shit out of each other. But yeah, this fight and that fight are, yeah.
And I wonder, Figueiredo's such a strong guy and everything. And, I texted you during the fight about how Moreno was, and I wonder if you could just comment on the heart that he showed. I mean, it seems like physically he's outgunned in that fight, and he's getting hit by some shots that would knock over a horse, and he's coming back and putting it on Figueiredo.
To the body, to the head, the shots he was taking. It's funny because leading up this week, he was telling everybody that his hero is Julio Cesar Chavez, and that's who he wants to, when people remember him and his career, and, he wants to be remembered like a Julio Cesar Chavez. Well, when you look at typical Mexican fighters, he is the prototype. I mean, he is exactly what you think of when you think of real Mexican fighters. He looked damn good tonight.
And I wonder if when you think of what you saw tonight from these two guys and what you saw from them 3 weeks ago, isn't it kind of amazing that how close we were to losing the division, and we wouldn't even had those fights, but you had these great performances in the last couple of weeks that out of a division that was on the verge of being gone.
Yeah, and you know what? We were talking about that tonight too. I got to give it to Mick. Mick went in and restructured and rebuilt that division. And it's one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC now. And tonight we put on a potential fight of the year and potential greatest fight ever in the division's history. So congrats to Mick.
Why was it in such bad shape? Was it just because people didn't care about it before? Because you had great, obviously Demetrius was a great fighter, and you had other great fighters in the division. Why do you think it was in such bad shape before, and what specifically changed it to make it better now?
Well, we all know nobody cared about it. I mean, I sat up here and, and at press conferences before the fight telling everybody why you needed to watch that division and why there were so many great fights, but people just didn't give a shit. You can't make people care. They got to care or they don't. Mick had some ideas. He wanted to go in and make some tweaks in the division. He did it, and here we are today.
You share any of the tweaks?
Yeah. I think you can figure it out if you look at it. I mean, look at the roster. It's all exciting guys. Guys that are fun to talk to. You got a guy who's a real Mexican from Mexico and fights like a real Mexican from Mexico, and the list goes on and on.
And my last question, there had to be at least some trepidation when you're coming back 3 weeks, right? You wonder if they're going to be ready to come back at all. And then you heard last night the news, so how were you that today going in? How confident were you that they were going to be able to kind of put together the fight that we knew it would have been had they had a normal training camp?
No, you're dead on. You're dead on. Yeah, I didn't know. You don't know. And then you start wondering, well, we're going to find out when this thing gets into the 4th and 5th round and things like that. But talking about, seriously, we throw the word around a lot, but these two are seriously fucking savages. Both of these guys are absolute savages. Incredible performance.
What did you make of the stoppage in the Junior Dos Santos Cyril Gane fight? Junior seemed to take issue with it, saying it was behind the head.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think, but what I saw was Junior had gotten hurt. He got rocked, and he was almost walking away and turning his back to him, and Cyril was throwing shots at him and then threw an elbow. I mean, they were squared up. You turned your back, and he caught you on the back of the head.
What did you make of Chase Hooper's performance? I mean, the first round, Joe Rogan was saying, like, maybe he needs fights outside of the UFC to build himself up. And then 2 rounds later, he's pulling off a come-from-behind submission win. So what would you make of his win?
Listen, that kid has an incredible ground game. He needs to tighten up the rest of the game. You can't come here and continue to take that kind of punishment and have any longevity in your career. So I don't know. We'll see how he progresses. I mean, listen, the kid's winning, but you can't get your ass destroyed for 3 rounds and pull off a slick submission at the end of the 3rd round for too long. It's going to catch up with you.
Interesting stat is no champions dethroned in all of 2020. All the new champions were from vacant title fights. So outside of everything happening in the world, in terms of just the competition, it's been a pretty dominant year for these champions, right?
I didn't even realize that. Interesting. Yeah. It's been a fun year of fights considering, everything being shut down and, all the stuff that we went through this year. It's been a fun year of fights. It's been some good stuff, and there's been a lot of young talent that has emerged this year.
Dana over here. Since this is the last time we'll talk to you for the year, I want to know if they told you, Dana, at the beginning of the year, you're not going to be doing any traveling, but you're going to get this thing called Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, what would you have said?
Listen, if you'd have told me that Las Vegas was going to shut down and casinos wouldn't be open, and I would never believe this in a million years. So to think about it, anything else with the business, I couldn't imagine a day where companies were shut down, where sports wouldn't happen, Disneyland wouldn't be open, shit like that. Wouldn't believe it.
The first fight, when everything started going on, everyone was kind of holding on like, hey, just anything can happen, but Tony versus Khabib in Brooklyn, somehow it gets salvaged. We know in the end it just didn't seem to be meant to be. You've been president a long time. Big fights have fallen apart. Is there any particular extra sting, I guess, that the Tony Khabib fight that everyone wanted just didn't seem to happen?
No, it doesn't. It just didn't. I mean, it wasn't from lack of trying. I mean, we put that fight together 5 times. It just, it just wasn't meant to be. I don't think about it at all.
I'm assuming this might be when you get back from vacation. We know that you've talked about the heavyweights in March. We know Connor's in January. Is there any targeted champion who you want to headline the February pay-per-view?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm not thinking about anything. Tonight was our last pay-per-view of the year, and I just wanted to get through this. And, put 2020 in the rearview mirror. And then you guys know, you can tell how next year's shaping up. We've got awesome fights next year. So I don't know how the rest of the world is going to be, and I've already sort of set my mind. I'm in a place where I don't give a shit what goes on with the rest of the world. I don't care. This is the only world that I have to focus on and think about, and take care of my people, my family, and whatever else goes on. Fuck it. I'm not even gonna, whatever, man. I'm just focused on what's going on here. So, yeah, that's my attitude going into 2021.
Happy holidays, Dana.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, what's
Good to
up,
see
buddy?
you.
You too.
Take a look at a guy like Brandon Moreno. Summer of 2019, he gets cut. He stays ready. He climbs his way in. He loses the majority draw here for the title fight. What kind of message does it send? Don't get contracts at the Contender Series or get cut, about staying ready, being active, and you never know when your shot's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a lot of it with the Contender Series, guys that didn't win or didn't make it that night. But I said, you know what? They can come back. And they have them. They've done well. Some guys come back twice. Never give up, man. You got to keep fighting, especially if this is what you want to do. This is a tough business.
And one more question. Is it safe to say that no decisions will be made for the lightweight strap until you meet face-to-face with Khabib in person?
Yeah, I'm meeting with him next month. It actually all lines up perfectly. Connor's going to fight that same week with Poirier. We're talking about Chandler fighting. You know, this fight happened tonight, and then I meet with Khabib next month, and we figure out what's going on.
Dana, how do you had the fight between Moreno and Figueiredo by the third round before the deduction?
How did I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I had Figueiredo winning the fight. The point deduction, the whole fight turned. You know, Moreno started coming on stronger. He probably won that round without the point deduction. And that was when the whole fight really started to turn.
For the rematch, it depends on the health of both fighters, right? But in the case that Moreno is not ready for that, are you considering maybe Cody Garbrandt again, or the comeback of TJ Dillashaw?
No, these guys just fought twice in 3 weeks. Yeah. They got nothing but time. They can take as much time as they need.
Okay, and what do you think about Mackenzie Dern performance? She's been doing great, a lot of evolution. She showed a great stand-up. She did a great job.
And toughness, too, tonight. You know, with a broken nose, keeps coming forward. Actually fights harder in the third round with a broken nose. Yeah, you can tell that she's in a completely different zone and place.
Getting for real.
Huh? Yeah.
Getting for real.
Yeah. And that was a great fight. Great fight.
And do you think we are seeing the last fights of Junior Dos Santos?
Possibly.
And what about Tony Ferguson? I mean, he was tough as nails as always, but
yeah,
today I don't know.
I mean, Tony's a guy that's got to go take some time, figure out what he wants to do. What's his game plan for 2021? I think Tony's still, a couple fights away from making any crazy decisions like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. That good? Yeah. Merry Christmas, you guys. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you next year.
All right. There's Dana White. And apparently, in a matter of moments, we're going to hear from one of the big winners tonight in the co-main event, one Charles do Bronx Oliveira. So I think we're going to sanitize some mics, and then do Bronx is going to get up there and answer some questions.
Man, Dana totally no-selling next week's amazing fight night card.
Seems like he's not even going to be there.
Jeez, I thought he was a fight fan. What's going on? I was gonna go on my yacht and sell the Caribbean, next week too. But I was like, dude, Wonder Boy Jeff Neal. I was like, you know what? I'm like, hey Esther, keep the yacht in port. That's us boaters talk like that.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. But what a night it was. We're gonna and let me just say this to prepare you guys for the post-fight show.
Oh.
You guys are going to dictate all of it. But here's Charles Oliveira recapping his impressive win.
Charles,
Against Tony
congratulations.
Ferguson.
Obviously, a fantastic performance, one of the biggest wins of your career. So, what's the emotion like for you right now after that fight?
Foi uma performance fantástica, uma das maiores vitórias da sua carreira. Como é que você está se sentindo?
Obrigado. Pô, sensacional. Aquilo que a gente previu, a gente viu fazer uma grande luta, sair com uma grande vitória. Ganhamos de um cara que é um ex-campeão. Feliz demais.
Thank you. You know, it's what we predicted. He was a champion. He's a very tough guy, and we expected to go in there and have a great fight like that.
It looked like you might have the fight finished in the first round with the armbar. How close was that armbar, and do you think you might have done any damage to him with it?
Parecia que você ia acabar a luta ali no primeiro round com a chave de braço. Estava muito apertado e você acha que você pode ter dado uma lesão nele?
Olha, ele é um cara duríssimo. Quando acabou o round, eu falei pro Macaco, acho que eu quebrei o braço dele. A gente viu com a estratégia montada. Eu sabia que a gente tinha que vencer, não importava como. A gente tentava dar os parabéns pro Tony. É um cara que, pô, saiu de várias finalizações, é um cara duríssimo. Eu queria vencer. Eu vim aqui e fiz isso. Não foi por finalização, foi no nocaute, foi nos pontos, mas foi uma grande luta.
He's a really tough guy. I even told Macaco after that first round that I thought that I'd broken his arm, but you know, I wanted to win. We had a game plan set, and I wanted to go in there and win at any cost.
And then the second round, you got caught with the illegal up kick. I think there was a time in your career where that might have broken your concentration mentally, but now it seems like you're stronger and focused. Like, what was going through your head at that time, and what's changed to make you mentally strong the way you are now?
E aquele chute ali no segundo round, quando você estava abaixado, ele diz que acha que antes na sua carreira aquilo poderia ter te abalado. O que você fez para ficar com a mentalidade tão forte?
Olha, eu vim, depois que minha filha nasceu, minha mentalidade mudou, eu vim para ser campeão. Eu treino na melhor academia da parte em pé que existe, na Chutebox Diego Lima, junto com a Macaco Godinho, que me faz a parte de chão. Cara, tomo tanta pedrada, tanto... O Gia falou isso para mim hoje. Você apanha tanto na Chutebox, uma pedrada dessa não faz diferença. No segundo round, tomei no cruzado. O Macaco falou, nossa, que pedrada. Nem senti, irmão.
After my daughter was born, my mindset just changed completely. I'm here to be the champ, you know, and I train at Shootbox as the best striking team in the world. And, you know, my coaches were saying, you get beat up so much in the gym that it's no big deal. They said that I got a cross that landed and I didn't even feel it.
A escola que eu venho, irmão, todos os nossos treinos são uma luta e todas as nossas lutas são um treino, é diferenciado.
At our school, man, every training session is a fight. You know, it's different than anywhere else.
Last thing for me, I know you said you want the winner of Poirier and Conor. It looks like Gaethje and Chandler might fight as well. Habib might even come back. If Habib comes back, can you make the case that you deserve him over any of those other four guys?
Você falou que você quer o campeão, o vencedor do Conor com Poirier, mas também o Gaethje pode voltar e lutar com Chandler e o Khabib pode voltar. Você acha que você que mereceria lutar com o Khabib?
Olha, o Khabib jurou diante do túmulo do pai dele, então acho que o cara não vai voltar. Ele não tá brincando. Se ele jurou diante do túmulo do pai dele, ele não vai voltar. Deste Gaethje pode lutar com o Chadman, com o Chad, não tem problema nenhum. Olha só, todo mundo aqui sabe. Eu venci essa luta, eu sou o próximo desafiante e a gente vai esperar quando o McGregor deixa Poirier. Esse é o caminho a ser tomado, não tem outro caminho a ser tomado. São 8 vitórias seguidas. 7 vitórias eu não deixo para decisão. Eu vou lá e faço acontecer, eu finalizo e nocauteio. E essa última luta agora aqui, eu fiz aquilo que eu queria dentro da luta. Eu sou o próximo desafiante, 2021 sou eu.
Khabib swore on his father's grave that he wasn't going to come back. So when a man does that, you know, I don't think he's going to come back. And, you know, Gaethje can go fight whoever, but I want the winner of Conor and Poirier. I have 8 wins in a row. 7 of those I finished the fight. And, you know, I don't let it go to the judge's hands. You know, I finish fights and I'm in the position to be fighting for the belt.
Charles over here. You've been in the UFC a long time. It's taken a long time for you to get one of these big fights. Does it mean more to you now in this stage of your life and career than you think if it would have happened for you earlier?
Você está no UFC há muito tempo e demorou para você chegar até aqui. Você acha que significa mais você estar nessa posição agora do que se fosse há um tempo atrás?
Na realidade, eu acho que tudo é no tempo de Deus. Esse é o tempo certo, esse é o momento certo. Eu tô pronto para ser campeão. Eu venho falando isso, as pessoas não estão acreditando. Então eu tenho que vir mostrar. Olha só, olha a luta que a gente fez hoje. A gente pegou um cara que é um ex-campeão, um cara duríssimo, um cara que todo mundo falava que era um bicho-papão. E olha a luta que eu fiz hoje.
I think everything happens at the right time. You know, it's whatever God wants to happen. You know, look at the fight that I had tonight. You know, this is the guy that everyone calls the boogeyman. And we went in there and we had an amazing fight. You know, I've been telling everyone I'm going to be the champion. People don't believe it, so I have to show them.
We know anything can happen. Are you interested in going to Fight Island as a possible replacement if something happens to Conor or Poirier?
Qualquer coisa pode acontecer nesse esporte. Você está aberto aí para a Ilha da Luta para ser, caso tenha algum problema com Conor Poirier, você entrar no lugar deles?
Olha, eu só tenho um corte só na supercília. Semana que vem eu já tô treinando. Eu venho falando isso, as pessoas pensam que é brincadeira. Minha última derrota foi contra o Paul Felder. Eu voltei na semana seguinte a treinar. De lá pra cá eu não parei mais. 2021 eu vou ser o próximo campeão. Não, se ele se machucar, pode ligar pro meu empresário que a gente vai lutar.
You know, I just have a cut over my eye, so next week I'll be fine. I haven't lost a fight since Paul Felder, and I was in the gym a week after that. So, Dana, just call my manager if you want me to fill in.
My final question. You're part of the last pay-per-view of the year, and then earlier in the year, you were the first main event for the first event without fans. What does it mean to you to close the year? You started it and you end it with two very notable performances.
Você lutou agora no último pay-per-view do ano e a tua última luta esse ano foi no primeiro evento que não tinha público, né? Como é que é ter fechado esse ano tão estranho?
Olha, é um momento difícil que a gente está passando. Eu até brinquei, eu falei assim, eu fui o primeiro cara a fazer a luta principal, né, com Covid, sem público, e a gente está fechando de novo o ano, duas vitórias seguidas, uma no começo e uma no final. A gente fica triste, né, com tudo que vem passando, o mundo inteiro vem passando, mas eu feliz com as minhas apresentações. São duas grandes lutas com dois caras duríssimos. Deus é muito bom na minha vida.
We were talking about that. I fought in the main event, the first event in the COVID world with no fans, you know, now we're closing on to the last event, you know. We get upset over everything that's going on, but we're happy with being able to put on some good performances this year.
What did you and Tony say to each other after the fight? I saw you guys hugging and you were walking around with your arms over each other.
O que você e o Tony estavam falando um pro outro ali depois da luta? Vocês estavam abraçados andando pelo octógono?
Cara, eu só agradeci ele pela oportunidade que ele veio e me deu. Tô pedindo essa oportunidade faz tanto tempo e eu sabia que essa oportunidade ia aparecer na hora certa e apareceu. 20 dias. Sabe o que é 20 dias para você lutar com um ex-campeão? E tá com a cabeça no lugar, focado 100%. Então só agradeci pela oportunidade que ele me deu. Sou um grande fã dele, mas era meu momento, como eu falei, é minha hora. Deus é maravilhoso, a gente está no momento certo.
I was thanking him for the opportunity. I know the opportunity was going to come, and you know it came 20 days notice. You know what it takes to fight a former champion in 20 days notice. You know, I was just really thanking him for the opportunity, and everything happens at the right time.
Then what was that rock you held up after the scorecards were read?
Fala da pedra que você estava segurando.
Olha, todo mundo sabe, eu sou um cara que crê muito em Deus, tenho minha religião, sou muito focado nisso. Deus é tão bom, tão maravilhoso. Meu pai foi no monte e orou. Ele me trouxe essa pedra é uma pedra de Davi. Quem conhece a história de Davi sabe. Toda vez que eu venho lutar, eu venho com ela na mão. Olha só, Davi teve outras pedras, só tem uma. E com uma só, eu tô fazendo todo estrago. Deus é maravilhoso, irmão. Deus em primeiro lugar sempre. Como eu falei, o bravo tem nome, se chama Jesus.
Everybody knows that I'm religious. I have a lot of faith in God. You know, my dad climbed a hill, and if you know the story of David, you know what the rock means. So that rock is from that hill, and you know, God is the most powerful force there is.
Charles, tudo bom? Queria saber, primeiro, ele não bateu ali, te surpreendeu. O que você acha que faltou para finalizar a luta, principalmente no primeiro assalto, naquele armbar?
Olha, irmão, tranquilo. Cara, na realidade, acho que não faltou nada. Eu acho que a estratégia que a gente fez veio 100% focada. Olha só, todo mundo sabe que o Charles é um cara que anda para frente o tempo inteiro. Eu corro atrás da luta o tempo inteiro, só que a gente veio com a estratégia debaixo do braço. O Macaco pediu a semana inteira para mim não soltar a posição, para mim manter a posição. Eu só fui pro braço dele porque eu sabia que faltava 30 segundos, porque a gente sabia que ele não ia bater nenhuma chave dessas, no armlock, na chave de pé, porque ele é um cara duríssimo. Eu pensei que eu tinha quebrado o braço dele. Né? Então a gente tem que respeitar a história dele. Eu peguei o triângulo, se fosse outro tempo atrás, eu teria deixado ele subir. Poderia acontecer de finalizar? Poderia. Mas a gente queria vencer, então eu preferi subir. Eu vim com a estratégia montada debaixo do braço. A estratégia era o quê? Vencer. Não importava se ser nocaute, finalização pros pontos. Olha só, não foi nocaute nem finalização, foi nos pontos. Mas a gente fez aquilo que a gente queria na luta. Tanto em pé quanto no chão. Cara, ele é um ex-campeão, a gente tá falando de um cara duríssimo. E olha o que a gente fez.
Regarding the armbar, what do you think was missing to finish it? I don't think anything was missing. You know, he's a former champion. We knew he wasn't going to tap. There's a lot of submissions that we could have gotten that I think he wouldn't have tapped. But I wanted to secure the fight. I wanted to secure a win. Obviously, I wanted a knockout or submit him, but we got the decision. But most importantly, we had to follow the game plan and get a win.
agora são 8 vitórias seguidas, né? Você mencionou que parece que a pessoa não está acreditando no seu discurso, demorou para chegar até aqui. Por que você acha que demorou, assim, ainda está demorando o pessoal acreditar no que você está falando? E se você acha que dessa vez agora o pessoal realmente, depois dessa, vai acreditar no que você chegou aqui para cumprir seu objetivo?
Olha, a galera gosta dos caras que vendem a luta falando besteira. Eu não falo besteira. Eu venho aqui e faço acontecer. Isso aqui é logo, né? Aí vocês vão ver show. Eu ando pra frente, irmão, o tempo inteiro. Então acho que é isso que falta, falar um pouco mais, mas, cara, eu vou vender a luta sempre do meu jeito, mantendo meu pé no chão, sabendo quem é Deus. É o cara que vai andar na minha frente o tempo inteiro, me mostrando o caminho. Eu acho que hoje a gente mostrou que a gente tá mais vivo do que nunca na categoria. Eu tô falando, eu tô chegando. Vocês ainda estão botando fé? Fica tranquilo, eu tô chegando.
The question was about having an 8-fight win streak and what's missing to get a title shot. And I think that a lot of guys like to do trash talk, and I'm not going to do trash talk. You know, I've been telling everyone I'm coming, and I'm showing that. You know, I don't think I have to go in there and say anything.
Olha, só para me concretizar. Uma pessoa falou para mim assim: irmão, aquilo que é para ser seu vai ser seu, não importa como vai ser. Faz igual mineiro, vem comendo pelas bordas. É o que eu tô fazendo. Aquilo que é meu tá escrito. Ninguém vai tirar.
You know, what's supposed to be mine is going to be mine. Nobody can take that away, and I'm just slowly and steadily and surely getting there.
Alguma preferência entre o Conor ou o Poirier, caso você de fato enfrente o vencedor deles? E se você tiver, por quê?
Olha, cara, na realidade, vou ser bem sincero, eu tenho um sonho. Esse sonho não é só meu, é um sonho da minha equipe inteira. A gente quer ser campeão, não importa qualquer um dos dois que vem. Eu vou estar 100% pronto. Lógico, a gente sabe que se for luta contra o Conor, envolve muitas coisas, envolve muito dinheiro, envolve a luta. A luta contra o Poirier não vai envolver tanto dinheiro, mas vai envolver a luta. Então, se a gente for pensar nos dois lados, a gente tem um sonho e a gente precisa de dinheiro. Mas eu não faço tanta diferença, não. Qualquer um dos dois que venha tem que vir 100% pronto. Eu tô aqui para dar um show, eu tô aqui para isso, eu quero fazer acontecer. Só vocês acreditar. Pode acreditar no menino do Broncos. O moleque veio da favela, chegou para vencer.
The question was if there's a preference between Conor and Dustin for a title fight. I don't really think there is a preference. I want to fight for the belt. That's been my dream and my team's dream. Obviously, fighting Conor involves a lot of other things, a lot of money, and a lot of other things that maybe a fight with Dustin wouldn't involve. But we really want to win the belt, and it really doesn't make a difference.
Só mais duas perguntas. No mundo ideal, quando você voltaria a lutar? Você tem alguma data?
Hoje, amanhã, agora. Tô pronto. Cara, a gente fez 3 áudios numa luta. Eu tava 100% recuperado. A gente tem um corte no supercílio. É uma semana. Se fosse no Brasil, a gente colava com o Super Bond, né, Macaco? Tava pronto. Então, cara, eu tô pronto. Eu quero lutar. Eu gosto de me manter ativo. Todo mundo sabe disso. Eu gosto de me manter ativo. Se cair a luta, pode me chamar. Só ligar pro meu empresário e ligar pro Macaco que ele marca a luta.
I would fight tomorrow, right now, if I could. You know, I just have a little cut over my eye. I can step in there at any time. If we're back in Brazil, we just super glue my eye and go back in there. So you can ask my coach. I'm ready to go. Just throw me in there.
Uma pergunta. Por que você e toda a sua equipe estavam com o cabelo descolorido? Qual foi a ideia?
Cara, na realidade a gente gosta de impressionar, hein? Gosta de chegar os meninos aí do cabelinho louro. Postei lá, fiz a enquete, todo mundo posta. Várias pessoas pintaram o cabelo e mostrou. Isso mostra a nossa força. A gente gosta. É a segunda vez que a gente pinta o cabelo de louro, meio branquiçado, sei lá. Energia. A gente faz o bagulho acontecer. Cara, é uma coisa que a gente gosta, né? Uma coisa legal. Daqui a pouco nós inventamos outra cor. O Macaco já pintou de vermelho. Quem sabe na próxima a gente vem de vermelho, de azul. A gente vai inventando, né, vovô? Isso é importante. A gente tá feliz. Cara, o mais importante de tudo é ousadia e alegria, tá feliz. Essa luta aconteceu isso, né? Na alegria, na felicidade. Meu corte de peso foi na alegria e na felicidade. Cara, eu tava tão contente de lutar, mano, que eu nem falei pro Macaco agora, parecia que eu nem sabia quem ia lutar, quem era o cara que ia lutar. Felicidade.
The question was about the hair, and you know, we just like to play around and do something different. We get a lot of messages of people that dye their hair the same way, and you know, showing their support. And you know, maybe next time we'll show up with red hair. We don't know, but you know, what's really important is to do everything with happiness. Everything this week was happy. My weight cut was very happy, and you know, I wasn't even thinking about my opponent. I was just happy to be here.
We need Derek.
Falou que eu preciso pintar o cabelo.
Não, com certeza, ele vai pintar na próxima. Tá com nós, vai ter que pintar. Aí a gente vai inventar e vamos ver a cor que ele vai pintar. Tá com nós ou não?
He said next time I gotta dye my hair too.
Que é a última coisa. Galera, olha só. Deus abençoe a vida de todos vocês. A minha última luta foi em Brasília e eu participei lá com a galera da Abraça, a galera que cuida das crianças que têm câncer. Então, galera, pô, parabéns pelo trabalho de vocês. É um trabalho maravilhoso, é um trabalho lindo. Essa semana eu pude ter a oportunidade de mandar um vídeo para eles lá. Então, não reclamem da vida de vocês, não, porque, cara, tem crianças que acabaram de nascer e já nascem com câncer terminal. Então é difícil pra caramba. Parabéns a toda a galera da Abraço.
Last time I fought in Brasilia, I was able to come in contact with a society that helps kids with cancer. And, I was able to send them some videos this week. And, to everyone out there, don't complain about your life, because there's a lot of kids that were born with cancer. And that's a lot worse than anything else.
There he is, Charles do Bronx Oliveira. What a night it was in the octagon, and what a night it was outside of it as well. I thought he had a great press conference. What a way to end it. Some kind words. Telling some people, guess what? Don't complain. Don't complain about your life, especially if you get everyone's happy and healthy, because there's people who have a lot worse. There you go. But what a win for him. I agree with him. I liked what he had to say. Khabib said he's retired. He's acting as if Khabib is retired, even though Khabib has said 14,000 times he's retired at this point.
I think even Rogan on the broadcast mentioned Khabib might have mentioned he's retired, but it's so weird. It's the weirdest narrative now.
Yeah. So at this point, we are waiting to see if Brandon Moreno will be making his way up. If he is, we will hear from the assassin, baby. And if he's not, we will leave you here. And we will go to the post-fight show stream where you guys will dictate everything we're going to talk about, because we could sit there and wax poetically about the entire card, but you guys are going to have the same thoughts that we had. There's that mustache man again.
I assume that's me.
It ain't me.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hi, Jose.
We hear you fine.
Hold on 1 second. You guys see me?
Oh, there you are, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think Moreno's coming because Tracy, the mic guy, or the audio technician that you know very well, Casey, is unplugging all the microphones right now. So I'm assuming no Moreno.
Oh, what a jerk.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Pulling his body for us.
Well, at this point, I am already in the process of working on getting Brandon Moreno for an interview this week. So we'll see what happens. No promises, but it is being worked on as we speak. So hopefully we can get him, and you could hear from the valiant challenger who fought Deiveson Figueiredo to a draw tonight in one of the best fights of the year and one of the best flyweight fights of all time, if we're being honest here. But Jose, before we say goodbye, because it looks like Brandon Moreno will not be here, any final thoughts on the card tonight, since you probably will not be joining us on the post-fight show?
I'm going to say it's been a crazy year. This is the last fight card that I'm going to for this year. It's been an exhausting year. I'm glad everyone stuck around. This was an absolutely awesome card to close out the year for me and my traveling expeditions. I assume I'm going to be there on Fight Island. I haven't been told, but I'm just assuming that's the case because, I don't think we're going to want to skip the Conor Hamzat or whatever else happens. So stay tuned for that. Sorry I won't be on the post-fight show, but one of the best cards I've ever been to. It's the best card I've ever been to in this pandemic era, for sure, as they take all the microphones away. But yeah, thanks for helping everyone, and thanks for tuning into all the live streams.
Yes, you are the man, Jose. Thank you for all your hard work. Safe travels back. I'm sure we'll be talking to you on all of our various programming at some points. But in the meantime, we will say goodbye on this particular stream. We will head on over to the post-fight show in a matter of moments. So look for that stream. For Casey, for Jose, I am Mike Heck. We will see you on the other side.